In this episode of the Locked On NBA Big Board podcast, me and my brother James, we are going to share our thoughts on several players from the 2021 draft class who did not get extended on Monday's deadline. But not only did these guys not get extended, this could be a make or break year for 5 lottery picks. So stay tuned to hear our thoughts on Davion Mitchell, Ziaire Williams, James Bouknight, Josh Primo, and Chris Duarte. We're going to discuss, is it a make or break year for them? Was it a situation where scouts missed out on something? Is it a situation where they need a change of scenery? Stay tuned. Big shout out to each and every person that has made the Locked On NBA Big Board podcast your first listen of the day. I'm your host, Rafael Barlowe, along with my brother, James Barlowe. Before I get too deep into this episode, I want to let you know that it is sponsored by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code Locked On NBA for $20 off your first purchase. And if you are not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please subscribe, like, share, comment, click the bell so you can be notified every time we drop, because we're coming at you every single day. Well, at least 5 days a week. But nobody is bringing you more NBA draft content than the NBA Big Board crew, or Locked On NBA Big Board crew. Don't want to leave out the Locked On. All right, James. Yesterday was the opening night of the 24-25 NBA season. It was only 2 games. A blowout the first game. The Celtics,
Hey, do you think that's bad for basketball that the Celtics shoot so many threes?
No. Why would it be bad for basketball?
The growing complaint is everybody plays the same in the NBA. And I don't think that that's fair, because when everybody played ISO ball, nobody complained that everybody played the same. When everybody was throwing the ball into your post, man, whether he was generational or not, nobody complained that everybody played the same. When they shot all middies, I don't think everybody plays the same. I just think those are the open shots you take. And like Boston, you can't help off anybody because everybody that they play has a burner.
Yeah, I don't think people didn't complain. I just think social media enhances
That's true.
Everything. The complaints, the positives. You know me. I hate transition threes. Like, man, go to the basket.
It wasn't even that. It was
they were just you couldn't help
every corner shot.
You couldn't help. But no, I don't think it's bad. I mean, I just don't know. I mean, I don't want to overreact off of one game, but you got a team that steamrolled through the season last year in the playoffs. Headed into this season, they bring everybody back, and then their 2 best players have some type of chip on their shoulder coming into the season. So, I don't want to overreact off of one game, but it's looking pretty scary for the rest of the league. Speaking of scary, I think it is scary hours for 5 players that were selected in the lottery of the 2021 NBA draft. I believe that 11 players from that class signed extensions, rookie extensions. 19 are still without extensions. There's a couple guys like Jonathan Kuminga. I think he's going to get taken care of eventually. He actually may benefit. He's going to let this season play out. He could end up getting a max deal that Jalen Green didn't get. Alperen Sengun didn't get a max deal. I was actually kind of surprised by that. I think the Jalen Green contract is very unique. But there are 5 guys: Davion Mitchell, Ziaire Williams, James Bouknight, Josh Primo, Chris Duarte. 5 lottery picks. I think they were all selected like back to back.
Yes, like right after each other.
Not only did they not get extended, I think they're in a very scary situation for them as far as the next step in their careers. And this could be a make or break year. Some guys are in, worse situations than others. I would say Ziaire Williams probably has the best opportunity to kind of change things around. I mean, he's on the Nets. He's on the Nets. And there's going to be plenty of opportunities there. And I assume Dorian Finney-Smith and
Cam Johnson.
I can't think of his last name right now. I was going to say Cam Thomas is not Cam Thomas. I assume they're going to be gone. So I think he is going to get some opportunities. And then Bouknight, Josh Primo, I imagine that they're going to have to dominate in the G League to get, another opportunity. And Duarte is just a guy that you just don't really hear anything about. So I want to ask you, the reason they're in this predicament, was it something that scouts and NBA teams missed out on? Is it a situation where they may just need a change of scenery? Or, in two cases, it's some off the court issues that definitely derailed their careers. But we've seen in the NBA, if you got some crazy off the court issues and you're
If you can,
productive,
if you can play,
you'll get other opportunities. So let's start with Davion Mitchell. Was coming off an outlier year at Baylor. He wasn't really known to be like a good shooter, and then shot the cover off the ball at Baylor. Baylor won the national championship. He catapulted from, at least in my opinion, I thought, oh, he's going to be a first round pick, skyrocketed up to the lottery, had some success as a rookie. And then it's been downhill since. Now he's in Toronto, and we talked about it in yesterday's episode. He may be in a battle for the backup point guard with Jamal Shead, a rookie. If he doesn't win that battle, which, it's a long season, so he doesn't have to win it for opening night, and could still end up, having a prominent role with the Raptors throughout the season. But that's not a good sign to start off a make or break year for Davion Mitchell if he doesn't win the backup point guard job for the Raptors.
Yeah, so like you said, his rookie year in Sacramento, he averaged 11-4, and a lot of that is opportunity. I believe De'Aaron Fox was hurt. I don't think, matter of fact, Sabonis, that trade wasn't there. Sabonis wasn't there, so you get more usage. But even with 11-4, like, he had like a true shooting percentage of 49%, which is not good. And his biggest concern was, I guess, coming out of Baylor, was the shooting real. And he hasn't been able to duplicate the shooting that he did that year that Baylor won the championship. I think he might be in a worse situation in Toronto than he was in, or at least the same situation that he was in Sacramento, because you're fighting for backup minutes, but okay, Scotty Barnes is going to handle the ball a lot, right? So I think they're going to play RJ Barrett as a ball handler in the second unit. So you're basically fighting for minutes, and can you play alongside the guy you're fighting for minutes with? So are we going to really try out 2 6-foot point guards in the NBA? I mean, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work. Fortunately for him, I think some of Shead's deficiencies are some of his. So if he shoots the ball better, and because Shead played well in the preseason, but he didn't shoot the ball well. He's like a old Kyle Lowry type player where, he's going to leave an impact. But yeah, Davion Mitchell, it's an interesting situation for him as far as will he be able to stick and make the most of this opportunity in Toronto.
Yeah, last year he shot a career high 36% from three. And again, the knock on him that made some people question why he was selected so high was that he only had one good year shooting the ball from deep in college. And I remember I was on Baylor's campus right after he got drafted. I was asking some of the coaches, I said, was it an outlier year, or was it just him being confident that he put in the work? And they mentioned that he put in the work. And I believed it, because I was like, the way he's letting it fly and the way he's shooting, there was a confidence behind it. Like, I've been working on this. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just, as Leaf would say, the dare shooter. Like, all right, I got to shoot it because I'm wide open. He was pulling, whether it was off the dribble or whatever. And so it looks like that was, again, an outlier year. He only shot 31% from three as a rookie and like 66% from the foul line. His numbers are all over the place. In his 3 years, rookie year, 31% from three, 66% from the foul line. Year two, 32% from three, but he made 80% of his free throws. And then last year, he shot 36% from three, only 71% from the foul line, but a career low, 15 minutes per game. He went from 27 minutes a game as a rookie, 18 as a second-year player, 15. From the starts to the minutes per game have declined. And now I think he's in a tricky situation because he's going on a team that is not expected to be a playoff team. And if he doesn't crack their rotation, it can get spooky for Davion Mitchell.
You know, I don't want to sit here and say he does. I mean, obviously he works on his game. I just think it's more of it's probably can he maintain the confidence, but also the reps. Like when you get those reps, like again, at Baylor, the ball's in your hands, right? Then you get an opportunity as a rookie. You know, you didn't shoot the ball as well, but you're playing 27 minutes a game. And now 18 minutes a game, 15 minutes a game. So it's like him shooting 36% last year at 15 minutes per game is good, but will he get enough opportunities to showcase himself? I think he's an NBA player. I think there's a role for him in the league because, again, he's a great defender, disrupting, but like you got to make shots. A perfect example before we go to break. Look at what Miles McBride did last night, right? He didn't shoot the ball well as a rookie, and now he comes in and he plays minutes, and the game was ugly, but he kept him as close as he could. He slept good because, you know, he's making shots. His confidence as a shot maker is out of this world right now.
Yeah. No, I do think Mitchell has a defined role in the NBA as a point of attack defender. All right, when we return, we're going to talk about Ziaire Williams. I had some very strong opinions on Ziaire Williams coming into the 2021 draft. So we're going to go back on my thoughts on Ziaire Williams and the situation that he's in with the Brooklyn Nets. But before we get on to Ziaire Williams, let's talk about FanDuel, which is America's #1 sports book. And if you are an NFL fan or NBA fan, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats. You can view live play-by-play and so much more. And it's on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. And that happens when you place your first $5 bet. And that is at FanDuel.com. All right, second segment, Ziaire Williams. I was very critical of Ziaire Williams.
Tell me about what you said about Ziaire Williams coming out of Stanford, I believe.
Well, and I've kind of changed up on it a little bit, but I was very adamant about taking a guy so high in the lottery with limited production, like poor counting stats. Now, I kind of changed up on it. I guess I can't just generalize that because I was very high on Derek Lively coming into last year's draft. And I knew that he didn't, on paper, I knew that Derek Lively didn't look good, to the point where when I was saying how much I like Lively, he got drafted by the Mavs. One of the radio stations here in Dallas called me to come on their show to talk about Lively. And they were like, why do you like this guy so much? Is he Moses Brown? But anyway, I thought that was a unique situation. But for Ziaire Williams, I just felt like he was not productive at Stanford. I wasn't high on him. I had a lot of people telling me that I'm missing out. And then, you know, the situation, I can't overlook it. That was like the COVID year. Stanford, you know, California had a really tough restrictions. Stanford played all of their games on the road in a sense. They were living in a hotel, so on and so on. But I'm like, hey, man, what does that have to do with the shooting percentage? And I know he got into like a biking accident and he had like this huge bulky knee brace at the beginning of the year. He averaged 10 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, but he just shot 37% from the floor, 29% from 3. I just didn't see it. And he struggled at Memphis, but I do think a change of scenery is going to be good for him in Brooklyn. If there is a place for him to go to put himself in position to get another, or at least a significant second contract, it is the Brooklyn Nets. Injuries have played a role in it, but I do think that it's getting spooky for Ziaire Williams. He's got to show improve this year.
So here's my thing about Brooklyn, right? He needs some things to go his way to crack that rotation. Obviously, they got to get rid of Dorian Finney-Smith, but they got to showcase him first. They already paid him, but we basically, I don't necessarily got to showcase him. We know what DFS is, who he is. We know who Cam Johnson is. It's a matter of just working those deals. Is he a better basketball player? Will he get more minutes? Even when the smoke is cleared of those guys, is he better than Jalen Wilson?
We'll see. I mean, he had a solid preseason, 10.6 rebounds, 2.5 steals, shot
This is
48.
Ziaire, right?
Ziaire,
Okay.
48% from the floor, but he only shot 27% from three. And my question regarding him is, what is his role? But before that, I want to ask you, what did scouts miss on Ziaire Williams? Did they miss something, in your opinion? Did they miss something on him? Or was he able to ride his pre-college, the whole Sierra Canyon wave into the lottery, despite the lack of efficiency at Stanford?
I don't necessarily think it's them missing something just because a guy doesn't pan out. Because we've seen guys who have had similar lack of production turn out to be solid NBA players. But most importantly, the thing is with him, and he's been boxed into this role as a 3-and-D guy. If you're shooting 31%, 30% from three, you're not a 3-and-D guy, right? You're just giving us defense. And he hasn't rebounded really at a high level. So it's like, what is he doing to make up for being a poor shooter? And will he get the opportunity again? The guys are ahead of him. Brooklyn has got picks. Maybe they don't blow it up as fast as we think they do. Maybe they can afford to hold on to guys a little longer. Is what I'm trying to say, because they got all their picks back for Michael Bridges, right? So I mean, if he can't make shots, it's going to be tough, and that's just for everybody. That's today's NBA. If you're not making shots, what do? Now, as a 3-and-D guy, if you're not making,
you can't say he's 3-and-D. 30% for his career.
30% in D guy, you have to make shots, because if you're not a high level rebounder, playmate, like, you have to do something else, and he just hasn't been able to shoot the ball well. So again, in the same situation, yeah, he played well in the preseason, but the thing is about being a role player in the NBA, you have to be hot immediately when you step on the floor. You're not going to get the same reps that you got in high school. Definitely not. You're not going to get the same reps in college. So it's like, you have to be able to, if I got 4 shots in the first half and one of them is a 3, I have to make that shot. Now, I think if I were him, I'm trying to figure out Ben Simmons, as far as like, okay, Ben Simmons, initiator, I'm assuming Ben Simmons is healthy, initiator. How can I find a way to stay in his line of sight? Because he's going to find ways to get me shots, and I'm going to go from there.
Well, that's why I think it can be tricky for him. He's listed at like 6'9", 185.
That sounds like Jay. I mean, these brothers, man. Stop naming y'all kids Jalen and Jaden, man. Let's differentiate. The one that plays for Minnesota has like the same measurements. 6'9", 195.
But he found a role as a defender, but he could knock down shots.
But he added the jump shot, and he came in as a son of KD. That was his thing.
He's a guy that I think is a lot. He's accepted a role. I think he's way more skilled than the role that he's playing.
He got paid.
Smart man. He got paid. He got what, $136, something like that. So with Ziaire, I'm just trying to figure out what is the skill set to hang his hat on. I know the allure of him was that he was a 6'9" wing that could handle the ball. And
I've never seen him dribble.
Well, he showed playmaking. That was the thing. That was the allure about him out of high school. I haven't seen, the shooting hasn't been there. Maybe there's been some small glimpses of the playmaking, but at 6'9", 185, if you can't shoot, then that means you got to score in the paint.
Yeah, and again, he was a corner boy in Memphis, so he would catch some lobs, but like, he's got to turn himself into a league average shooter. Now, if that doesn't work this season, I still think he's somebody that scouts, GMs, teams are going to roll the dice on him because he has the measurables. And maybe he just figures it out a little later, but you want to be on the sooner than the later side.
Yeah, no, I think it's a make or break year for him. I think he has to show improve. I mean, he's young. I don't want to make it seem like he's 30. He's still only 23 years old. But the way new waves of young teenagers come in who need opportunities, I feel like a lot of players, you got a small window. You might have 3 years to show you can stick. Or, you might be out. All right, when we return, we're going to talk about a couple other players, James Bouknight and Josh Primo, who ran into some off-the-court stuff that has definitely derailed their careers. But did they show enough before all of this happened? And how big is this year for them? We're also going to talk about Chris Duarte and Kai Jones, who I think has a really, really good opportunity to resurrect his career with the LA Clippers. But before we get into the last segment, let's talk about Game Time, which is my favorite app when it comes to purchasing tickets. And Game Time makes it so much easier to get tickets to sports, concerts, comedy, theaters, and more. They have the all-in pricing. Just toggle that feature on the app, and it will show you the totals up front, so there are no surprise fees at checkout. They also allow you to get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy, so you know exactly where you're sitting and what you'll be looking at. They have the lowest price guarantee. If not, they will credit you 110% of the difference, and your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, use the redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. All right, last segment. James Bouknight. Now, I was extremely high on James Bouknight coming into the 2021 draft. He's what I find appealing in prospects. Shot maker. Guy that I believe could go out, get buckets, make tough shots, athletic. I thought that he had the tools to be a 3-level scorer in the NBA. I mean, that draft for Charlotte was just absolutely atrocious looking back at it. But I thought that on draft night, I thought that Charlotte had some solid picks. Now, again, off the court stuff played a role in it. But in 3 years with the Hornets, Bouknight averaged just 4.8 points. He shot 33% from the floor, 1.7 rebounds, averaged less than an assist per game, only played 11 minutes. I mean, even in Summer League, he wasn't good. I think his last year in Summer League was 12 points per game, 38% from the floor, 23% from three. And this was like his second Summer League. And as a lottery pick, playing in the Summer League, as an experienced Summer League player, you're supposed to not play by Monday. You're supposed to play that Saturday.
Yeah.
You're supposed to play Friday and maybe Sunday.
And then you on the bench, iced out.
On the bench with your jewelry on and so on. But he's in a rough situation. In the G League, he showed some flashes, 18 points per game, shot 41% from three on 7 attempts per game. Charlotte waived him, I think, and as part of like the PJ Washington, Grant Williams trade. Didn't play anywhere the rest of the season. Portland just picked him up for their G League team.
Didn't he? He didn't sign, but he was getting interest from a EuroLeague team, right? I want to say I saw that.
I mean, maybe I haven't seen. I mean, I do think that his game is best suited to go to China, where you get the freedom. And I think he put up some crazy numbers in China. And I know the off the court stuff played a role, but when he did play in the NBA, I can't say that he was very productive. Do you think he just needs a change of scenery? And do you think he can resurrect his career playing for the Rip City remix this year?
Without knowing him personally, just going by what you see, not necessarily the headlines, but what has been confirmed or whatever, it's the off the court stuff that got to him. And it's the reason why he is where he is. You got to take care of your business off the court. And it wasn't just him in Charlotte, allegedly. But, they had to clean house. Hopefully this is another opportunity for him. I think he has talent. Big time talent. Another year in the G League. Keep his head on straight, focus. I think he gets another opportunity. But he has to be like on the up and up. Because again, like we mentioned in the preview, when you're talented and you can play, you'll get another opportunity. And
opportunities.
Opportunities. But it's also fair to say that this is his other opportunity, because he was like, they weren't good. And a bad team gets rid of you and nobody wants you and you're on an exhibit 10. No disrespect to anybody on an exhibit 10, but if you're on an exhibit 10 as a former lottery pick
at 24 years old,
it's scary. So he's got to keep his head on straight. Will he be able to crack and turn it into a two-way or whatever for Portland? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm a big believer that when lottery picks don't live up to their expectations, I don't think it has much to do with talent. I think it's whether there's off the court stuff, guys losing their confidence, not having the right fit, or sometimes like the wrong fit, the wrong role helps you lose your confidence. And this game is all about confidence. I mean, if you're not confident, you're not going to succeed. I mean, you can make a case for that in any genre of life. But for Bouknight, where I'm like torn at is that, like we said, Miles Bridges got another opportunity. Why? Because he was productive and he showed that he could play and he could help. Kevin Porter Jr. has had multiple opportunities. I actually thought Kevin Porter Jr. was done. I was like, okay, this is it.
Cooked.
This is it.
He really went overseas.
I think Kevin Porter Jr. is a max level or near max level talent. Now, he's cost himself a lot of money, and I don't even know if he gets another opportunity without his relationship with Steve Ballmer. I didn't realize that he played with Steve Ballmer's son in Seattle. So I don't know if he gets another opportunity. But however he did get one, if he keeps his head on straight, I think he's going to play a significant role. And with Bouknight, my question is he good enough? The fact that he's only got an Exhibit 10 and he wasn't very productive when he did play makes it scary for him.
Yeah, if nothing else, man, I just hope he gets whatever that got him off the track together, and then you got to start from there, and the basketball will take care of itself. Talent is obviously there, but get that other stuff together, and let the basketball take care of itself.
Yeah, to my knowledge, he hasn't ran into any off the court stuff in a couple years. I think all of that was like maybe his second year. And first year in the league. All right, let's talk about Josh Primo. Josh Primo ran into his own issues off the court. Now, he was the biggest surprise of the 2021 draft.
See, look, let me see. Okay, I don't know if he's good enough, right? I haven't seen anything from him to show that he's good enough. Now, I thought he was cooked after San Antonio, to be honest, because like San Antonio is like, that's supposed to be top tier. They don't make mistakes. And whatever happened, I don't really get into the details. I thought he was done there. Then he got picked up by the Clippers. And, that didn't work. And now Chicago.
The Clippers, he only played 2 games.
He played 2 games. And it's like, I get it. He was super young. He is super young.
He's still only 21.
He's still, okay, so he's 21. People make mistakes. I get it. But he's shown to me less than Bouknight.
Yeah, 37% for his career, 30% from 3, 5.7 points. And he started 16 games as a rookie. His second year, well, everything kind of happened at the beginning.
Yeah, he was cooked at 20.
But I thought he showed some flashes at the end of his rookie year. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see. One of the things that comes along with him, probably even more than Bouknight, is the PR hit. When you sign him, there's going to be a PR hit because of everything.
Because that's not regular dumb kid stuff that got him in trouble. Yeah.
It's not something you hear about every day.
Yeah.
All right. So in his case. Again, the numbers, 37% shooting for his career, 30% from 3, 5.7 points. Was it a mistake on the Spurs for reaching to draft him so high? Because not saying that mock drafts matter or important, but nobody saw him going number 12.
Right, and this is the case where, okay, we saw Bouknight. Bouknight was cold at UConn.
Yep.
like this seemed like an ultimate reach, and then turns out Buddy had some stuff that he had to deal with or is dealing with or whatever to even make it even look like an even worse pick. So like I don't know how it's going to work out for him. Same thing with Bouknight. Hope whatever they got going on, they get it figured out so they can be productive humans, and then that basketball can come in. He's on an exhibit 10 with the Bulls, right?
Yep.
I don't know how you make that. Even if the Bulls absolutely blow it up, guess who they're going to feature? Maras. They're going to feature Patrick Williams because they just paid him. We might as well get to Duarte. I don't know how those two guys get an opportunity.
Yeah, Duarte was the 13th pick. Now, he had some success.
Yeah, explain this to me. He was good as a rookie. Granted, he was like OG, but like, why do you think he keeps getting passed around for lack of a better term?
I don't know. I mean, he just fell out of favor. As a rookie, averaged 13 points per game. That is very promising as a rookie. 13 points per game. Shot 37% from the floor. And then year 2, it went down to 7.9 points. The minutes dropped nearly 10 minutes per game.
The 3-point dropped 32%. That's where you get into trouble.
Yeah, and then last year, he only started 11 games, only averaged 12 minutes per game, shot 38% from the floor, 34%. He's on his third team.
26
years old. Is it?
No, he's 27. Excuse me. Yeah.
Is it scary hours for him?
Yeah, I think it's scary hours for Duarte. Again, we're in Chicago right now. I don't know where minutes come from. And they have so many guards that are even healthy. Like, yeah, I don't know, man.
I mean, he should try to feel optimistic about it, but I think it's an uphill battle. All right, last player I want to talk about is Kai Jones. Kai was considered a reach. He was, I mean, at Texas, I had my concerns about him at Texas, but I get why he was a first-round pick because the flashes of athleticism are incredible. I mean, he was raw, but he can do some stuff on the basketball floor athletically that not too many guys can do. So I understood the reach for him, and I understood why Duarte went so high because he was so productive. And I guess
but he was old though.
But the thinking behind him being old was probably like, all right, we got somebody that's plug and play that's going to come in and play.
But that same logic is the reason why, I mean, like, okay, Duarte's where he's at. Denzel Valentine was old and productive. Didn't work out for him as far as like not working out, meaning like a long NBA career. Yeah. But I mean, back to Kai Jones though. Yo, he's in a great spot. If he can keep the main thing, he's in a great spot in LA because you get to play with Harden. You get to play with the, at worst, third best passer in the NBA, right? And he was really productive in preseason too. I think, again, everything works out for him. The stuff that, scared off Charlotte, had him out of the NBA last year, he gets those things together, he's got a chance to stick. Now, will he get a long-term deal? I think he's always going to be a guy because he's scared teams as a, year-to-year kind of guy. But, you got to live life 1 year at a time. And, I'm staying in James Harden's back pocket if I'm him. Definitely. Find a way to get me 7 and 5 and 2 blocks in the minutes that I'm going to play.
And what's crazy is out of all these guys that we're talking about, well, one, he wasn't a lottery pick. He was the least productive.
Exactly.
2.7 points, 2 rebounds in 67 games. It was the erratic behavior on social media that at least what we saw publicly.
Yeah.
But he averaged 8 points, 5 rebounds, 2.6 blocks in the preseason, and he feels a need for the Clippers. I thought last year the Clippers and the Suns were two of the least athletic teams in the NBA.
He is everything in the world as an athlete.
They both addressed their their needs for athleticism. The Clippers with Derrick Jones Jr. and Kai Jones, even though he was signed last year. But he gives the Clippers and James Harden a lob threat, a rim runner, somebody that's going to score in transition, someone that is going to alter shots around the rim. I think he has the best chance of getting a long-term deal this summer out of all the guys.
I don't know. Again, I don't have the intel I think it's going to take some time for him to get the long-term deal. But I mean, look at it like this: if he can keep his head on straight in LA, of all places, and be productive, then that sounds like somebody that's got their stuff together. So I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for everybody who gets an opportunity because, like, it's hard to make it to the NBA. It's hard to stick in the NBA. You got dudes ready to take your job months from now. So it's like, hopefully these guys do get their opportunities and they figure it out and everything works out for them.
Yeah, and also I want to add that he averaged 1 point a game as a rookie. And then it was the second year he averaged 3 points per game. I will say this much, though. Why I think he has the best advantage is because he's 6'11". When you're 6'11" and athletic, you have to show that you can't play. While if you're a guard or a wing, where there's so many of them, you're going to have to prove that you can play. So I think Kai Jones is in the best situation. And I also get why the Hornets reached for him at 19. And I also understood, just watching him from Texas, why he struggled, because I think it was Summer League 2 years ago, he was launching threes like that was his role. And I think in a simplified role, like, hey, big fella, be athletic, run the floor, catch lobs, protect the paint, you'll get paid. And I think in that simplified role, I think it's going to extend his career.
With veterans.
Yeah.
That's that plays a big part, because look, Hart is old.
Yeah. Well, that wraps up this episode of the Locked On NBA Big Board Podcast. Once again, thank you for making this your first episode of the day, or your first listen of the day. Now I want you to check out the Locked On newsletter. Your favorite podcast now has a newsletter. So whatever team you support, whether it's Locked On Lakers, Blazers, Mavs, Heat, whatever, check out their newsletter. It's a one-stop for the ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. So sign up for free now at lockedondaily.com. Just plug in your favorite team. That's lockedondaily.com. Start your day with an all-new free newsletter covering your favorite team. Once again, it's Rafael with my brother James, and we are out of here.